Hello there, stay a while and listen. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the waves? Imagine ancient civilizations, thriving cities, bustling with life, only to be swallowed by the sea. Their stories, once full of promise, now lie dormant beneath the depths, waiting to be uncovered. But what if I told you that these cities still have something to say? That beneath the tranquil surface of the ocean, entire worlds have been preserved, offering us a window into the distant past. Tonight, we're going to explore the mysteries of these lost underwater cities, their rise, their fall, and the secrets they hold. Get comfortable, and let the rhythm of the waves guide you as we embark on this calm journey through time, unraveling the stories of civilizations that once flourished beneath the sun, but now rest quietly in the embrace of the sea. But before we dive deep into this story, tell the wizard where you are watching from and what time it is, and you will be blessed with sound sleep. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a serene coastline, the air cool and crisp as the first light of dawn bathes the world in golden hues. The vast ocean stretches endlessly before you, the sound of waves gently lapping against the shore, providing a comforting rhythm. As you stand there breathing in the salty air, you feel a sense of timelessness. The ocean, with its endless horizon, holds the memories of 1,000 lifetimes beneath its surface, hidden from view, waiting for the moment when their stories can be told. Beneath the water's calm facade, there are cities, once thriving with life, now lying in silence at the bottom of the sea. These are not just random ruins scattered across the ocean floor. No, these are ancient civilizations, vibrant metropolises, that were swallowed by the very forces of nature that once nourished them. Temples, homes, streets, and marketplaces that once bustled with activity, now preserved in a quiet, watery tomb. Their stories, though lost to most, still echo softly, carried by the currents of time. The allure of these submerged cities is powerful. They are the keys to understanding forgotten societies, their triumphs, their cultures, and ultimately, their downfalls. These cities were alive once, with people living, loving, and working. Today, they are quiet reminders of the fragility of human existence and a constant ebb and flow of time. One such city, perhaps the most famous of all submerged cities, is Dwarka. It is a name steeped in myth, but also in history. Dwarka is said to be a legendary city, built by Lord Krishna, an avatar of the god Vishnu, who is said to have guided the construction of this grand city on the western coast of India. According to the ancient texts, Dwarka was no ordinary city. It was a jewel of civilization, a city of golden palaces and grand temples. The streets were lined with bustling markets, and the air was filled with the sounds of commerce, religion, and culture. Its rulers were said to be divinely blessed, and its people lived in harmony with the gods. But legend tells us that this magnificent city, after a long and prosperous reign, was consumed by the sea. The great battle of Kurukshetra, described in the Mahabharata, saw the end of the Yadava dynasty. The rulers of Dwarka and the city was said to have sunk into the ocean in the aftermath of their demise. The ocean, as the story goes, took back what had once been gifted by the gods. Dwarka was swallowed whole, its walls and palaces disappearing beneath the waves, leaving only the faintest traces behind. For centuries, Dwarka existed only as a myth, a tale passed down through generations, told by sages and poets. But in the 1980s, underwater explorations began along the coast of Gujarat, off the western coast of India, and divers discovered large stone structures beneath the water. These structures were unmistakably they seemed to match the descriptions of Dwarka from ancient texts. Large walls, paved roads, and even what appeared to be remnants of temples and other monumental structures. The discovery was groundbreaking. The stones and structures, while they cannot definitively be proven to belong to Dwarka, certainly suggest that an ancient city, possibly older than any known civilization, lay beneath the ocean's surface. Some archaeologists argue that this may not be Dwarka itself, but rather another ancient city that was lost to time. Others are more open to the idea that Dwarka may indeed have existed, and its ruins have simply been preserved underwater for millennia. In any case, the discovery has ignited imaginations around the world, for here, at the bottom of the sea, is the evidence of a once great civilization. A city that perhaps existed in a way that was more than just a legend. Now, let us shift our focus to another submerged city that has captivated archaeologists and historians alike. Pavlopetri, located off the southern coast of Greece, Pavlopetri is perhaps one of the most astonishing underwater sites to date. Its story, unlike Dwarka's, is one that is firmly rooted in history. It is one of the oldest submerged cities known to humankind, dating back over 5,000 years to the early Bronze Age. Discovered in 1967, Pavlopetri is a rare treasure for archaeologists. The city is remarkably well preserved, and the clarity of its ruins is unparalleled. As divers descend into the crystal-clear waters of the Mediterranean, they are greeted by a stunning sight. Streets, buildings, and even grave sites laid out in a way that tells the story of an organized and thriving society. The layout of Pavlopetri is well planned, with streets that form a grid pattern, much like modern cities. Homes, public buildings, and even a burial site have been discovered. The city was, it seems, a thriving hub of early Mediterranean culture. Its people engaged in trade and commerce. Long before the classical Greek era, the city's architecture speaks volumes about its advanced nature. The buildings, many of which still stand upright, are built with large stone blocks and feature intricate design details, including doorways, walls, and drainage systems. One of the most remarkable aspects of Pavlopetri is that it was intentionally planned, not just a collection of structures, but a well-organized urban center, complete with a harbor where ships could dock. The remains of shipwrecks have been found nearby, suggesting that Pavlopetri was a busy port city involved in maritime trade across the Mediterranean. The fate of Pavlopetri, like that of many submerged cities, is tied to the dynamic forces of nature. The city is believed to have sunk due to a combination of tectonic shifts and rising sea levels, events that were common in the Mediterranean during this period. It's not just that the land sank. The sea slowly reclaimed the city, with waves and earthquakes working in tandem to erase the once thriving town from history. Today, the city is submerged under just a few meters of water, which has helped preserve its remarkable ruins. The clarity of the site, combined with its age, makes Pavlopetri one of the most important underwater archaeological sites in the world. It allows us a rare and intimate look into the daily lives of people who lived over 5 millennia ago, offering a glimpse of a culture that was not only advanced, but also deeply connected to the sea. The ruins of Pavlopetri are like a window into the distant past, where the ebb and flow of the waves wash over the stones, whispering the secrets of those who came before us. Now let us move across the Mediterranean, to the shores of Egypt, where the ancient city of Heracleion once stood. Heracleion, also known by the Egyptians as Thonis, was the gateway to Egypt from the Mediterranean. This city was a major port and trade hub, serving as the entry point for foreign ships and merchants who wished to trade with Egypt. It was a city of grandeur, with monumental temples dedicated to the gods and vast dockyards where ships from across the known world anchored. The city's decline is another story of nature's overwhelming power. After centuries of thriving trade and prosperity, Heracleion began to sink into the sea. The exact cause of its demise is still debated, but it is likely due to a combination of rising sea levels and seismic activity that caused the land to sink. By the time the city was lost, Heracleion had long been one of Egypt's most important centers of commerce and religion, with massive statues of Egyptian gods lining the streets and grand temples dedicated to the pharaohs. In the year 2000, an underwater archaeological team led by Frank Godio made a remarkable discovery. The sunken ruins of the remains of the city lie submerged beneath the waves, still holding on to their secrets. Large statues, columns, and even the remains of ancient ships have been recovered, revealing a city that was once a thriving hub of life. The rediscovery of Heracleion has opened a new chapter in the study of ancient Egypt, offering insights into its connections with Greece, Rome, and the broader Mediterranean world. The city's ruins remain submerged, but they stand as a testament to the might of the Egyptian civilization. The fate of these cities, Dwarka, Pavlopetri, and Heracleion, is a stark reminder of the power of nature and time. The sea has swallowed them, but it has also preserved them, allowing us a glimpse into the past. As we continue to uncover more underwater cities, we are reminded that beneath the waves, there are worlds that continue to wait. Their stories hidden in the depths, only waiting for the right moment to emerge. Before we continue, remember, if you enjoy this journey through the depths of history, a simple subscription will ensure that we can explore many more forgotten stories together. Trust me, the wizard will bless you with a sound sleep if you subscribe. Now, let's dive back in. As we stand before the vast expanse of the sea, gazing out at the seemingly peaceful waters, one can't help but wonder, what lies beneath? In the depths of the ocean rests a forgotten world, its silent ruins bearing witness to civilizations long gone. But how did these cities, once bustling with life, come to be swallowed by the sea? What forces of nature caused these ancient metropolises to disappear beneath the waves? To answer this question, we must first take a step back and examine the deep geological forces that govern our planet, forces that have been at work since the beginning of time, shaping the world and, in many cases, leading to the loss of entire cities. These natural processes, though often slow and imperceptible, are as powerful and inevitable as the tides themselves. The Earth's crust, the very foundation beneath our feet, is not a solid and unchanging surface. Instead, it is made up of massive pieces called tectonic plates, enormous chunks of rock that float on the semi-molten mantle beneath them. These tectonic plates are in constant motion, drifting slowly across the surface of the Earth. The movement of these plates, while imperceptible on a daily scale, has profound and lasting effects on the geography of the planet. Over the course of millions of years, the movement of these plates has caused the rise of mountain ranges, the creation of volcanoes, and the sinking of entire land masses beneath the sea. When tectonic plates shift or collide, they can cause massive geological events, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and even tsunamis, all of which can reshape the landscape and contribute to the destruction of once thriving cities. One of the most dramatic examples of tectonic forces at work can be seen in the case of Heracleion. Heracleion was a thriving port city, home to grand temples, monumental statues, and bustling markets. For centuries, it was a center of trade, culture, and religion, serving as a gateway for ships traveling between Greece and Egypt. Yet, despite its importance, Heracleion vanished from the face of the earth, swallowed by the sea. Heracleion's submersion is believed to be the result of seismic activity caused by the movement of tectonic plates in the region. This region, the Nile Delta, is particularly vulnerable to tectonic shifts, due to its position on the boundary between two major plates. Over time, these plates gradually exerted pressure on the land, causing it to sink, slowly at first, but with increasingly catastrophic consequences. Rather than a single catastrophic event, Heracleion's demise was a gradual process of subsidence. The land slowly sank beneath the weight of seismic shifts, and as it did, the Mediterranean waters began to creep in, gradually covering the city. It's a haunting thought. As the sea began to rise, Heracleion's streets and temples were submerged one by one, until nothing was left but the remains of a once glorious city, resting at the bottom of the sea. But Heracleion's submersion wasn't a singular event. It was part of a larger, ongoing process. Over the millennia, the Nile Delta has been slowly sinking due to the natural movement of the Earth's tectonic plates, combined with rising sea levels from the melting glaciers at the end of the Ice Age. This gradual process contributed to the city's ultimate fate. As the ground beneath Heracleion sank, the waters of the Mediterranean quietly reclaimed the land, preserving the city beneath the sea for over 1,000 years. In many ways, Heracleion's story mirrors that of other submerged cities. These cities were often built on or near fault lines, or along unstable coastlines, making them vulnerable to the shifting forces of nature. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions, all events triggered by the movements of tectonic plates, have caused many great cities to sink beneath the waves. But not all cities succumbed to these forces in the same way. While some cities were lost slowly, over centuries, others vanished suddenly, erased by the violent forces of nature. Now, let's take a closer look at Dwarka, the legendary city off the coast of Gujarat, India. According to Hindu myth, Dwarka was a magnificent city built by the god Krishna. Its palaces were said to be made of gold, its streets lined with merchants and bustling with life. But as the legend goes, after a great battle and a series of divine events, the city was swallowed by the sea, its grandeur sinking into the depths, leaving only memories behind. While the myth of Dwarka is steeped in the divine, the geological reality of the city's submersion is more earthly. The region surrounding Dwarka is seismically active, and the area has experienced numerous earthquakes over the centuries. These seismic events, coupled with rising sea levels and the natural shifting of the land, likely played a major role in the city's disappearance. Scientists believe that Dwarka, like many other cities, was built near fault lines, making it susceptible to tectonic activity. When the Earth's plates shifted, they may have triggered an earthquake, causing the land beneath Dwarka to sink. In addition, the gradual rise in sea levels, driven by the melting of glaciers after the Ice Age, would have added to the city's vulnerability. The combination of seismic activity and rising waters likely resulted in the eventual submersion of Dwarka, as the city slowly sank beneath the waves. In the 1980s, underwater explorers discovered the remains of large stone structures off the coast of Gujarat. Some believe these structures are the remnants of Dwarka, preserved by the ocean over thousands of years. While the evidence is still inconclusive, the discovery of these ruins raises intriguing questions about the fate of this legendary city. Was Dwarka real, or is it simply a myth? Could the stories of divine intervention be grounded in geological events, in which the city's sudden disappearance was the result of an earthquake and a tsunami? The answer remains elusive, but the mystery only deepens as we continue to explore the depths of the sea. But while Heracleion and Dwarka offer us glimpses into the catastrophic forces that destroyed ancient cities, another city, Pavlopetri, reveals a different fate. Pavlopetri is one of the oldest submerged cities in the world, dating back over 5,000 years. Unlike Heracleion and Dwarka, which were likely destroyed by sudden seismic events, Pavlopetri's submersion was the result of the gradual rise of sea levels at the end of the Ice Age. The process of sea level rise following the melting of glaciers was slow but inexorable. As the earth warmed and glaciers retreated, the oceans began to rise, flooding coastal regions and swallowing cities built near the shore. Pavlopetri, located in the Mediterranean, was one such city. It was once a thriving Bronze Age port with well-organized streets and impressive buildings, but over time, the rising sea levels gradually overtook the city, submerging it beneath the waves. Imagine, if you will, standing on the streets of Pavlopetri, watching as the tides slowly creep closer and closer. The once bustling market is now quiet. With only the sound of the waves breaking against the shore, you can see the stone buildings, the cobbled streets, and even the intricate drainage systems that show how advanced this early civilization was. But with each passing year, the sea inches closer, until, finally, the entire city is swallowed by the water, preserved beneath the surface for millennia. Unlike other submerged cities, Pavlopetri was not lost suddenly to a violent catastrophe. Instead, it succumbed gradually, over thousands of years, to the slow forces of nature. The result is a city that is remarkably well preserved, offering a rare glimpse into the everyday lives of people who lived long before written history. The geological forces behind the submersion of these cities are both slow and sudden, gentle and violent. They are a reminder of the impermanence of human civilization. The tectonic forces of the earth, the gradual rise of sea levels, and the cataclysmic events that shape our world have a profound impact on the cities and civilizations we build. Yet, while the forces of nature can take away these cities, they also have the power to preserve them. Submerged beneath the waves, these cities remain as silent witnesses to the past, their stories waiting to be uncovered. But how do we uncover them? In the next part of our journey, we will explore the methods that modern archaeologists use to reveal these submerged worlds. From sonar mapping to the use of remote-operated vehicles, the tools of underwater archaeology allow us to bring the secrets of the past to light, without disturbing the fragile remains of ancient cities. If this journey through time has captivated you, don't forget to subscribe. The wizard will bless you with more peaceful nights and fascinating stories from the depths. Your subscription ensures that we can continue exploring the mysteries of the deep together. Let's continue to uncover the secrets of the lost cities beneath the waves. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the sea, watching the waves gently lapping against the shore, thinking about the mysteries they may hold beneath the surface. As the ocean has swallowed entire civilizations, it has kept their stories, their history, and their culture preserved beneath the waves. The question then is, how do we access those stories? How do we unearth the legacies of societies long forgotten, whose monuments and artifacts were hidden by time and nature? The sea has kept the memories of these ancient places alive, and each discovery, each artifact, stone structure, or inscription brings us closer to understanding the worlds that were once thriving. And while these submerged cities may be beneath the water, their stories are not lost to us forever. With modern technology, research revealing hidden treasures and ancient knowledge, one of the most remarkable examples of such a discovery is Heracleion, the Egyptian city long swallowed by the Mediterranean. Rediscovered in 2000, its vast, submerged ruins have opened up a window into a civilization once thought to be lost. When archaeologist Frank Godio's team first began their work, they didn't know just how much Heracleion had to offer, but as they began to unearth the remains, statues, columns, and inscriptions, the significance of the find grew clearer. This city, once a powerful center of trade and religion, had been preserved underwater for over 1,000 years, and what lay beneath the sea was a treasure trove of ancient knowledge. The discovery of monumental statues, some towering over 10 feet tall, was one of the most striking aspects of Heracleion's ruins. These statues depicted Egyptian gods like Amun, Isis, and Hercules, each intricately carved in the style of the time. These statues were not just decorative. They were placed in the city's sacred spaces, where people came to worship the gods and seek divine favor. But these statues also reveal something deeper. They are a reflection of the religious and spiritual life of the people who lived there. The craftsmanship and scale of these statues show the city's grandeur. They were not merely artistic expressions, but symbols of power, identity, and cultural pride. These gods were believed to be protectors of the city, standing guard over the people who lived there. Their faces, their robes, and their posture all speak of a rich religious culture that was central to Heracleion's identity. But these statues, submerged for over 1,000 years, also reveal something else. The passage of time, the sea has softened their edges, worn down their features, and yet they still stand, somehow resilient to the forces of nature. Equally revealing are the stone inscriptions and hieroglyphic texts found in these texts, inscribed on large stone slabs, tell us much about the daily life in the city and its role as a trading hub. These inscriptions not only honor the gods, but also commemorate the city's place in the larger world. Heracleion was a vital port connecting Egypt to Greece and other Mediterranean regions. The inscriptions speak of the trade routes that passed through, the goods that flowed in and out, and the political and religious exchanges that took place. They provide us with insight into how the people of Heracleion viewed themselves in relation to the gods and the other cultures with whom they interacted. Yet Heracleion was not just about monumental statues and grand temples. The underwater archaeology conducted in the city also uncovered shipwrecks, remnants of the vessels that brought goods and people to Heracleon's shores. These shipwrecks offer an incredibly valuable insight into the city's economy and its connection to the broader Mediterranean world. The cargo found on these ships, including pottery, grain, and other goods, provides a glimpse into the day-to-day lives of Heracleon's inhabitants and their trade networks. The ships themselves, now lying quietly at the bottom of the sea, offer a direct connection to the past, a link to the commerce that sustained the city's prosperity. Now imagine stepping out of the grandeur of Heracleion and into the much quieter, more intimate world of Pavlopetri. Unlike Heracleion, which was a monumental city built around grand temples and trade routes, Pavlopetri was a small yet sophisticated society whose remains lie submerged just off the coast. At over 5,000 years old, Pavlopetri is one of the oldest known submerged cities, and its discovery has been nothing short of extraordinary. The city's well-preserved layout, with its organized streets, public spaces, and residential areas, offers a rare glimpse into the lives of ordinary people living thousands of years ago. What makes Pavlopetri so special is how much of the city remains intact beneath the water. Unlike cities that were destroyed by earthquakes or tsunamis, Pavlopetri was likely gradually submerged due to rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age. This slow submersion allowed the city's buildings, streets, and even some personal artifacts to remain remarkably well. Archaeologists have uncovered cobblestone streets, stone houses, drainage systems, and even burial sites that provide insight into the everyday lives of the people who lived there. These findings show us a society that was advanced, organized, and deeply connected to the sea. The pottery found in Pavlopetri is one of the most valuable artifacts from this submerged city. Pots, bowls, and vases were not only used for cooking and storing food, but also for religious ceremonies and as trade goods. Many of the pottery shards found here bear marks of artisans, suggesting a thriving local industry. Some of the pottery is intricately decorated, showing patterns and designs that reveal the artistic talents of the people. These objects give us insight into the social structure of the city, into the lives of the everyday people who lived and worked here. Perhaps most intriguing are the personal artifacts recovered from the site. Items such as beads, necklaces, and tools provide a glimpse into the lives of the people who once called Pavlopetri home. These objects may seem small, but they reveal important details about the culture and lifestyle of this ancient society. The jewelry, for example, offers insight into how the people of Pavlopetri expressed their identity and social status. These objects, while modest in scale, offer a rare opportunity to connect with the individuals who lived here, who shaped this city with their hands and their hearts. In stark contrast to Pavlopetri's small, intimate society, we find the legendary city off the coast of Gujarat in India. The myths surrounding Dwarka paint a picture of a grand and glorious city, built by the god Krishna himself, with golden palaces, wide streets, and grand marketplaces. While the legend speaks of a divine creation and a spectacular downfall, the physical evidence suggests a different story. Large stone structures, walls, and roads have been discovered off the coast, raising intriguing questions about whether Dwarka was once a real city or simply a myth. The artifacts recovered from the area, pottery, tools, and even jewelry, provide valuable insight into the lives of the people who may have lived there. While there is still much debate about the exact identity of the city, the evidence of human habitation is undeniable. The architectural structure suggests that Dwarka was an advanced society with a sophisticated understanding of engineering and urban planning. The roads, well organized and built with precision, speak to a people who knew how to shape their environment and create a thriving city by the sea. But what truly makes Dwarka fascinating is its connection to the sea. The harbors, once bustling with ships from across the ancient world, offer a glimpse into the city's economic and social interactions. The artifacts found on the site suggest that Dwarka was not just a port, but a cultural melting pot, where ideas, goods, and people from all corners of the ancient world came together. Dwarka's story, like that of many other submerged cities, speaks to the power of human civilization to build, to create, and to thrive. Yet it is also a reminder of how fragile these civilizations are. The same forces of nature that created these cities, the tides, the storms, the tectonic movements, also took them away, leaving only their remnants behind. But in these remnants, we find not just the physical evidence of a past civilization, but the souls of the people who lived there, their aspirations, their struggles, and their triumphs. If these discoveries have piqued your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe. The wizard will bless you with peaceful nights, filled with ancient mysteries and fascinating tales from the deep. With every subscription, we move closer to uncovering even more stories from the lost cities beneath the waves. As we continue our journey through these submerged worlds, we've encountered the ruins of magnificent cities, once bustling with life, now eerily quiet beneath the waves. The statues, the streets, the houses, and the everyday objects scattered across the ocean floor offer a glimpse into the distant past, revealing the hearts and minds of the people who lived in these lost civilizations. Yet, in addition to these relics, there is a deeper question we must ask. How did these societies function? What were their social structures like? What roles did their elites play? And how did the common people live? To answer these questions, we must delve into the very fabric of these societies. In some ways, these ancient cities, though separated by time and space, were not unlike the societies we know today. They were complex, with diverse social structures, distinct hierarchies, and intricate systems of governance and power. As we look deeper into the submerged ruins of cities like Heracleion and Dwarka, we begin to uncover the roles of both the elite and the common people in shaping their worlds. Let's begin in the legendary city of Heracleion, the Egyptian port city that once stood at the crossroads of ancient trade and religious power. As we've already seen, the discovery of monumental statues and temples has shed light on the city's spiritual life. But what about the social dynamics? The statues of gods and pharaohs reveal one thing. The gods were at the center of Heracleion's existence. But gods were not the only powerful figures in this society. Heracleion's elites were intricately connected to the religious practices that dominated the city's culture. The pharaohs were not just political leaders. They were seen as living gods, divine rulers who acted as intermediaries between the human world and the gods themselves. In Heracleion, the elite class was made up of the pharaohs, the priests, and the noble families who controlled the trade and commerce of the city. They lived in grand homes near the temples, surrounded by luxury and wealth. The statues found in the ruins, many of which depict the gods but also figures from the royal court, tell us that these elites were honored in ways that reinforced their divine status. The priests played an essential role in this religious and political hierarchy. They were the guardians of the sacred temples and the ritual practices that ensured the prosperity of the city. Their position in the social structure was as powerful as that of the rulers themselves. The priests performed ceremonies that were believed to ensure the favor of the gods, and they controlled access to the divine. The importance of religious ceremonies can be seen in the massive temples and altars found in the city. These were not just places of worship. They were the very heart of Heracleion's power and economy. But how did the common people of Heracleion fit into this structure? The everyday life of the common people would have been far removed from the grandeur of the temples and royal palaces. While the elites lived in luxury, the majority of Heracleion's inhabitants worked as merchants, artisans, fishermen, and laborers. They lived in more modest homes, often clustered near the docks or in the outer districts of the city, far from the towering statues of the gods and the grand rituals performed by the priests. These people were the backbone of the city's economy, ensuring the flow of trade goods and the labor required to maintain the city's infrastructure. Pottery and tools found in the submerged remains of Heracleion provide us with a glimpse into the lives of these common folk. The pottery, for instance, shows us what the people ate, how they stored their food, and what items they used in their daily routines. These simple objects, bowls, plates, jars, and cups, were used by everyone, from the wealthiest merchants to the poorest laborers. Yet, despite their simplicity, these objects also reveal the cultural and technological advancements of the people who made them. The artistry on these pottery pieces, often depicting gods' animals and geometric patterns, shows a society that valued both functionality and beauty. In the marketplaces of Heracleion, goods would have been exchanged between merchants from across the Mediterranean. The elite merchants and traders, many of whom were likely connected to the royal family or the priesthood, would have had access to luxury goods and played an integral role in the political and religious life of the city. Meanwhile, the common people would have worked in the background, maintaining the port, fishing, crafting tools, and performing other essential services that kept the city running. Now, let's turn our attention to Pavlopetri, the much older and smaller submerged city off the coast of Greece. Here too, we see evidence of a well-organized society with a clear social structure. The layout of the city, with its grid-like streets and residential areas separated from public spaces, suggests that the people of Pavlopetri had a clear understanding of urban planning. But what does this layout tell us about the society itself? Unlike Heracleion, Pavlopetri was not a city built around religious monuments and royal power. The social structure here was more egalitarian. with fewer monumental buildings or grand temples. Instead, the focus seems to have been on the everyday needs of the people, the markets, and the communal spaces that supported their daily lives. The public spaces, squares, and meeting places indicate a society that valued community interaction and cooperation. People came together in these spaces to exchange goods, ideas, and traditions. Artifacts discovered in Pavlopetri offer further insights into its social structure. The pottery found here, unlike that of Heracleion, is more utilitarian in nature. Simple storage jars, bowls, and cups dominate the findings, suggesting that the people of Pavlopetri lived more modestly than those of Heracleion. Tools and weapons, including axes and chisels, point to a society that was engaged in farming, fishing, and trade, with an emphasis on practicality over luxury. But it is not just the common people we are learning about through these artifacts. The presence of burial sites near the residential areas indicates that, even in this simpler society, there was a recognition of the elite. Those individuals who may have held higher status, possibly due to wealth, occupation, or lineage. The burial practices themselves suggest that there were distinctions in the treatment of the dead. More elaborate graves, with offerings of jewelry and tools, suggest that some individuals were honored in death in ways that others were not, reinforcing the idea of social stratification within this ancient society. Now, let's move to the legendary city of Dwarka. The city said to have been built by the god Krishna. The myths surrounding Dwarka paint a picture of divine kingship and a city of unimaginable wealth and power. The archaeological evidence recovered from the submerged ruins, however, tells us a more complex story. Like Heracleion, Dwarka was likely a port city with bustling markets and a strong connection to the sea. It was a place of trade, and the remnants of stone walls, paved roads, and temples suggest that it was a well-planned and sophisticated society. In Dwarka, the division between the elites and common people is perhaps the most striking. The grand temples dedicated to Krishna and the palaces where the elite would have lived were far removed from the more modest homes and workshops of the common people. The ruins of palaces discovered in Dwarka hint at the power and prestige of the elite. These were people who not only ruled the city, but were deeply connected to the divine. The artifacts found near the palaces, gold, jewelry, statues, and ornate pottery suggest that the elites of Dwarka lived in immense luxury, with access to goods and materials that were unavailable to the lower classes. In stark contrast, the common people of Dwarka likely lived in smaller homes or workshops near the docks or outer districts of the city. Pottery and tools found in these areas indicate a simpler, more practical lifestyle. The contrast between the opulence of the elite and the modesty of the common people is striking, and it serves as a reminder of the social stratification that existed in ancient societies. Yet, despite the obvious differences in wealth and status, both groups shared the same space, the same city, the same temples, the same streets. But what do we learn from these cities, from the artifacts, from the societal structures of Heracleion? We learn that ancient societies, much like our own, were complex, with deep divisions between the elite and the common people. The elites were often the ones who controlled trade, religion, and politics. They lived in grand houses, surrounded by wealth and luxury, while the common people worked to sustain the city, living in simpler, more modest conditions. Yet despite these divisions, the common people were just as integral to the life of the city as the elites. They built the cities, worked the land, traded goods, and maintained the social fabric of society. The discovery of these cities, of their social hierarchies, artifacts, and daily life, allows us to reflect on the similarities and differences between their societies and our own. It is a humbling reminder of the passage of time and of the forces that have shaped civilizations throughout history. If you've ever been fascinated by the stories of these ancient civilizations and the lives of the people who once thrived in these submerged cities, be sure to subscribe. The wizard will bless you with more tales from the depths, and, together, we will continue our exploration of the lost worlds beneath the waves. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time. As we come to the end of our journey through the submerged cities of the world, we are left with a profound sense of awe and wonder. These cities, long forgotten and swallowed by the sea, hold secrets and stories that span millennia. The ruins that rest beneath the waves are not merely remnants of the past. They are windows into the very heart of human history, offering us glimpses into the lives of the people who lived, loved, and built in these now forgotten worlds. What we've uncovered together through our exploration of Heracleion and the many other submerged civilizations scattered across the oceans is a tapestry woven with triumph, struggle, and resilience. The remnants of these ancient cities reveal the incredible ingenuity and creativity of their inhabitants. From the grand temples of Heracleion, where gods were worshipped in towering statues, to the simple yet meticulously planned streets of Pavlopetri, where people lived in harmony with the natural world, these cities were places of human endeavor, of innovation, and of connection. Yet as we reflect on these discoveries, we are also reminded of the fragility of civilizations. These cities, which once thrived in their time, were ultimately overtaken by the forces of nature. The rising sea levels, the seismic shifts, and the ever-changing landscapes of our planet, the forces that shaped these cities, both the natural and human-made, ultimately led to their downfall. Swallowed by the waves, but not entirely lost. For beneath the water's surface, they remain preserved in time, their secrets waiting for us to uncover them. What can we learn from these submerged cities? What do the remnants of ancient temples, broken pottery, and worn statues tell us about the societies that once existed, more than we might first imagine? These ruins offer us insight into the cultural diversity of the ancient world, from the bustling port city of Heracleion, where trade flowed between Egypt and the Mediterranean, to the quiet, self-sustained society of Pavlopetri. We see that ancient societies were not homogeneous. Each city, with its own distinct customs, architectural styles, and social structures, offers us a unique glimpse into the lives of its people. These cities were connected by trade, religion, and culture, yet each one was shaped by its environment, its geography, and its history. The artifacts we've uncovered, from statues of gods to simple tools and jewelry, show us how the ancient world was rich in diversity and full of complex, intertwined societies. But the most profound lesson these submerged cities offer is the resilience of the human spirit. No matter how many centuries pass, no matter how many tides wash over the ruins of these civilizations, their legacy endures. The people who lived in these cities were no different from us. They faced challenges, created communities, and left behind works of art and technology that continue to inspire us today. From the temples dedicated to deities in Heracleion, to the tools and pottery of Pavlopetri, these objects are not just relics. They are testaments to human creativity. They remind us that we, too, are part of this long, interconnected journey of human existence. The discovery of these submerged cities brings us closer to understanding how people lived thousands of years ago. Through the exploration of their social structures, artifacts, and daily lives, we have pieced together the stories of those who came before us. We've seen how elites and common people lived, how their societies functioned, and how these ancient civilizations adapted to their environments. Through the remnants of their cities, we have uncovered their hopes, their struggles, and their triumphs. And yet, there is still so much we don't know. These cities, though their physical remains have been uncovered, still hold mysteries that have yet to be revealed. What else lies beneath the waves? What other civilizations, lost to time and nature, remain hidden beneath the surface of the oceans, waiting for their moment to be discovered? The oceans are vast, and their depths are still largely unexplored. Each new discovery adds a new chapter to the story of humanity's past. And who knows what secrets remain buried, just out of reach. Perhaps one of the most captivating aspects of these submerged cities is the way they speak to the timelessness of human existence. These cities, like us, were built, flourished, and eventually fell. Yet through our exploration of their ruins, we connect with the people who lived there, their hopes, their fears, and their ambition to build something lasting. We find that, despite the passage of time, there are common threads that run through all of us, linking us to those who walked the earth long before us. In many ways, the act of uncovering these submerged cities is an act of connection, a way to bridge the gap between past and present. The discoveries we make today are not just about the artifacts we unearth. They are about the stories we uncover, stories that shape who we are and who we can become. As we study these submerged worlds, we find that we are not just learning about ancient civilizations, but also about ourselves. As we close this chapter of our journey, we are left with a renewed sense of wonder and gratitude. The ocean has held these cities in its embrace for thousands of years, and yet, in its quiet way, it has also preserved them. The waves, though they have washed over the remains of these great civilizations, have not completely erased them. They have allowed us to connect with the distant past in a way that no written record or oral tradition could. Through the ruins of these submerged cities, we glimpsed the very essence of what it means to be human. In the end, the legacy of these submerged cities is not just found in the ruins themselves, but in what they teach us about the passage of time, the fragility of civilization, and the enduring spirit of humanity. These cities remind us that no matter how much time passes, we are all part of a shared history, one that stretches back millennia, across vast oceans and lost civilizations. The waves may have swallowed these cities, but they cannot erase the stories they hold. The ocean, though it has hidden these worlds from view, has also preserved their secrets, offering them back to us in time. If these stories have stirred something deep within you, and if you long to continue this journey through the past, don't forget to subscribe. The wizard will continue to bless you with restful nights, filled with the mysteries of the deep and the untold stories of ancient civilizations. By subscribing, you ensure that we will continue to explore the vast, hidden worlds beneath the waves, one discovery at a time.